new Bob Sticky. Everyone hates Chris now. He's
Okay, everybody, thank you for joining Geeks Around. My name is Deanna Jackson. I'm your executive producer. We are a day late doing our Walking Dead discussion due to some things that I had to do, but we are back at it, and you heard Isaiah as we started off there doing whatever it is Isaiah does. We're just going to go ahead and get the rest of the panel. One of our other hosts here, Todd Grundle. What's going on, man?
Hello. It is a day later, and my brain is a day shorter.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there with you. Charles Wheaton, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. This episode, you were right. I mean, not a whole lot happened, but you found a couple of things that were quite good about the episode. Like one thing you said was cool, another thing you said was downright hilarious. I have to disagree. I was bored out of my mind during the entire episode.
Yeah, I honestly can't even argue that. Lou Rod, what's up, man?
How you guys doing? I thought this episode was actually interesting.
Yeah, it definitely had its moments. Isaiah, what do you think?
That says like it was boring or it was interesting. To me, this was the best episode for a Carol episode. It was really good. It had emotion, had backstory, and pretty much it made Carol to a more stronger character. Everything else was boring, but Carol, she was still on her A game.
Well, Carol was already something of a strong character. Is like she didn't really need much more characterization. Although I did really like seeing some of the things that she was up to during the time where she wasn't with the group back in the good old prison days.
Right.
Can you call it the good old prison days? Yeah, the good old prison days when people died and everyone got set on fire and Herschel's head got chopped off by the governor.
Rambo.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like this episode was kind of stronger on exposition than anything else. It's like as we said last week, this is a very Daryl and Carol centric episode, as in that's pretty much all we saw. But unlike some of the other episodes that have also been character specific, I mean, well, don't get me wrong. It's like I love these two characters, Daryl and Carol. It's like, and I love the actors portraying those characters. Just this episode, I'm gonna have to kind of side with Charles on this one. I was a little bit bored until like the most hilarious thing happened ever, and Carol got hit by that fucking car. That shit was funny as hell. It was like just out of nowhere. I was like, okay, let's get out of here. You bam! I was like, man, did I just start watching like a cartoon or some shit?
Right,
That looked like something that needed to be happening to Wile E. Coyote with Roadrunner driving the fucking car, yeah?
Oh my
Some Tom and Jerry shit, itchy and scratchy.
Oh god, that was so funny.
You
It was. It's like,
Oh my god, it's like
I mean, come on, the
You thought
bullshit.
that was funny.
It was like just. Oh my god! Ever since it's like we knew Carol was going to end up in the hospital, we were all perfectly aware of this. I was thinking the event that would put her there would be actually significant. Is
Right.
just like hit by a car? Okay, Carol, you got hit by a car in the zombie apocalypse. Okay, all right, in the zombie apocalypse. It's not like you was like trying to rush across, Hollywood Boulevard in L.A. in rush hour or some shit where there's cars all over the place and getting hit by a car. It's kind of easy to do. It's the zombie apocalypse. How in the fuck do you not hear it was a fucking station wagon, y'all. It was a station wagon. Did any of y'all ever been around a station wagon any time in your lives? You know those things are loud as fuck. And that's under normal circumstances, like with other cars and noise and shit. You trying to tell me in the midst of a zombie apocalypse with nothing else going on, the sound of a fucking station wagon completely escaped her, and she got blindsided and hit by a car. Oh, fuck off, writers. Come on.
I know, right? That was some stupid thing behind it. It was funny, but it's like, if she got hit by a deer, that's one thing. I can believe a deer. But a fucking car?
How does a human get hit by a deer? How the fuck does it
I don't even think Isaiah logic can back that one up.
A deer can actually hurt people. If you run real full force at you, boom. Have you seen that bike rider? Boom, deer.
City,
Where the fuck are you getting a deer from, dude?
For real. It's like he just pulled that out of his ass.
Atlanta, Georgia has a lot of deer. And they are really
I'll give you they got a lot of deers, but they were in the city, dude. I mean,
it can
back
happen.
to where
You
Rick
never
used
know,
to hang
man.
out.
You never know. It can happen.
They're in the city about 45 minutes north of where I live, and I've been there several times, and not once have I ever seen a deer roaming the streets.
Okay, you never seen I Am Legend. You never seen I Am Legend. You see some deers all the time.
A quote-unquote zombie apocalypse.
It's a flipping deer. They can walk anywhere they
Okay,
want to.
as much as I fucking hate to do this, I gotta say, it's like I remember one time a couple years ago, I was driving to work and damn near hit a deer, and I'm in Reno, Nevada.
Ooh, what was that? What was that? Oh, the
So
Adam
unfortunately, I'm going to have to, oh fuck me, agree with I'm gonna wait. Hold on. I can get this out. Hold on. I'm gonna have to agree with Isaiah. I can't even get it out. I can't. Fuck it. Try.
Oh my goodness, the madness.
Those words just won't form for me. It's like I don't know if that's gonna work.
Well, there's the possibility that Carol knew, the car was coming and did that on purpose.
That's even worse.
Oh yeah. She was working on an insurance scam, y'all. That's what it was. It was an insurance scam.
The problem with Carol was she was still woozy when the van went over the cliff and it started raining dead people.
Oh my god. Matter of fact, oh yeah, the luck system keeps on driving me insane. Like, oh my god, she has so much luck. She would have died from that stupid car, or from the stupid bridge, from the van. Like, what is this luck system?
Speaking of the van, all right, from the distance of the top of where the van was and to the bottom of the ground, and as the van had started to fall over, there was not enough space in between the ground and the bridge for the dude to do a complete 360.
No.
That's all right, Charles. And the airbags too would have killed them. Like,
No, they would have landed from the distance. They would have landed upside down.
Yeah.
Right.
Towed it practically upside down, 2 feet from the ground.
Logic. Isaiah logic better than this. Isaiah
That's
logic.
not Isaiah logic. That's just plain physics.
No, Isaiah logic is than this too.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like this entire episode was written with Isaiah logic. It's like
There you go, folks. There you go.
as
The
in
physics
very
where the
little of
walkers
it
just
made any
falling,
sense.
that shit was hilarious.
Wasn't it
That's
though?
funny.
Like a hailstorm.
Though.
Like, The Walking Dead was that stupid. Like, when you must be that stupid zombies. They were falling too.
Okay. It's like, and now we got another one. It's like, I almost hate to fucking read this. If it wasn't Antonio, I wouldn't. But even Antonio does that thing where he doesn't entirely disagree with Isaiah. It's like, Antonio says he lives right on the edge of Atlanta, and he has to watch out for deer daily.
Oh, magic everywhere. Oh, it hurts. I know.
So your Isaiah logic is now magic.
It's magic. Oh.
Okay, too many people are agreeing with Isaiah. We're going to go ahead and end the show. And before this shit gets any worse, Jesus.
To go with your Isaiah logic, I don't remember seeing a deer for quite a while now. We've saw rabbits and everything else. There hasn't been a deer since, what, season 2, maybe 3?
Exactly. There you go. You see? It makes you think, where's the deer? They must be chilling in the city now. They must be making their own civilization. They're making jobs now. They're trying to vote. Man. We gotta take them over, man. They're trying to vote.
No, they were actually the deers were hanging out underneath the tank Rick escaped from back in season 1.
See, even better. They're hanging under the tank. You see what I mean? Even Leroy agrees with me.
Yeah, that tank, by the way, I would have missed that if I didn't happen to pause at that moment to watch a couple weeks. I watched the church episode because I wanted to make sure all the timing added up. Like I thought there was going to be a mistake. So I happened to pause it right there, and there was that tank from the first episode. I thought that was...
Really? Okay, that I actually missed.
Yeah, they took it back to season 1 a little bit when they walked around the city. You saw where Rick battled that big-ass herd of walkers before he was saved by Glenn and them.
This is Glenn. It was this Glenn who saved them.
It was a good nod back to
After
the first.
continuously calling him a dumbass.
I think Andrea was there too, no?
No, who cares
No,
about it?
it was just Glenn. Well, it was just Glenn at first that led him to the others in the store.
Right, but it's mostly Glenn. He guided Rick throughout that whole horde. He actually was the first person to help Rick do out anything. Because if he didn't help out Rick, Rick would have been dead already.
Well, except for a man, Morgan.
Well, yeah, too. Morgan's pretty much an OG.
Mm-hmm. And see, and that's honestly, it's like I'm sitting here watching all this. We had that one teaser of Morgan in the season premiere here, and I'm like, okay, it's like there's all this bullshit that's going on. Some of it I care about, some of it I really don't. Where's my man Morgan? Y'all teased him. Where the fuck is he?
Because he's black. That's why. It's because he's black. That's why.
No, Isaiah. It's not because he's black. He's just lurking in the shadows, waiting to make his presence felt.
See, that's like OJ, because he's black. That's how
OJ was just an idiot.
That too.
If I try to think on that anymore, I'm going to start killing brain cells.
Exactly. It's too powerful. It's like painkillers.
Well, at least we stopped talking about Isaiah and it's fucking deer. At least there's, so.
Oh, thank you again.
The
deer taking over. They're taking over.
By the way, not even a month ago, I almost hit a deer in downtown Carson City. So there you go.
Oh damn! That's damn.
The deer is taking over. Told y'all. You didn't listen to me. See, the deer is taking over. I'm like John Connor.
Well, this has been Reggie's first time on Geeks and Around this entire year, and it's also his last.
It had to contribute.
See, I'm John Connor, folks. I'm trying to warn you about the future, man. About deer. They're going to take over the world. I'm John Connor. I'm your only hope.
Okay, now he's just going completely in the la
We need a whole nother show if we're going to start talking Terminator.
No, it's not Terminator. It's Termadeer. It's Termadeer. Get it?
Oh, fuck off. So we would be remiss to it's like, because like I said, this has been a very Dare on Carol episode, but it's like we've also had another notable character on this particular episode in Noah, who, of course, we first met in Beth's solo episode a couple of episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we were right. It's like, for those of us that predicted that, it really does. It's looking like it's going to be Noah that Daryl brings back to camp with him in order to rally the troops to go save Beth and Carol from the hospital.
Yeah, but it's like a returning theme, too. They've been doing, so the group has to save one of their people, again, from an evil group. Again. I mean, it's supposed to be nature itself, but they've been doing this more often than you think. Like, they did with Woodbury, then they did it with Terminus, and then they did this with even more places and people and all that other nonsense. Like, okay, this is happening way too much now.
Well, even season 1 was kind of, or season 2 with Herschel and them was kind of that way too, because they were they're all goody two shoes, and then it's like, oh no, wait, they got a shitload of zombies in the barn, and that sort of kind of conflict of, oh yeah, we're good, but we're not so good, and that.
Yeah, definitely put a damper on things. That's to be sure.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh, we can't make no hotels out of this now. Too many walkers.
But there's like a few things that I'm curious about. In the parking garage, it's like that little camp that was set up there. It's like, do you guys think that we'll ever find out what happened to the people there, or was that just kind of a throwaway set piece?
Throwaway. It's just throwaway.
Yeah.
That felt like a throwaway.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, do we really care about what happened to them?
Yeah, they fell asleep and they woke up as zombies.
Bingo. There you go. That's all you need to know.
I think
it's like, and that's a part of my problem with this episode. It's like there were 3 significant characters in this entire episode. It's like even in some of the other one-off episodes, there was interesting dynamics. Like in one of the other episodes like this that focused on just a few characters was it was Morgan, Rick, Michonne, and Carl. Right. And that was like, I think, last season, or it could have been the season before that. But it was a really good episode with really strong storytelling. And even the recent episode where all we had was Beth to really deal with. But that Beth episode, it also introduced a large number of other characters and different personalities, and we got to see these things interact. In this episode, it was pretty much the Darrow and Carol show with, Noah jumping in, special guest Noah, And that was kind of it, but there wasn't a compelling story here.
Right.
A bunch of mindfuck flashbacks.
Uh,
I don't know if you guys kind of already touched on this already, but
no, go with it.
if you're gonna flash back, at least give us something. It's kind of like, oh well, Carol looks at a squirrel, and then back to normal time, and then jump to some other time. Oh, Carol stepped on a rock, and it's like, okay, what is the point? That's that.
Well, I thought the points of the flashbacks with Carol was actually sort of explaining what happened after Rick sent her away, and how it affected her emotionally. Like the scene when she had just left Rick, and she was parked on the side of the road, and that walker showed up, and she was crying, and she screamed at the walker, yelling at it to tell it to go away. And we saw how traumatizing the whole experience was for her. And then the whole process as to her whole journey on being on her own, learning how to survive on her own. It was sort of
I get those. I got those ones, but there was like one, like when she was whatever scoping out Terminus or whatever, and it was like they showed her like walking all her zombie jacket off.
In the flashback, she never went to Terminus. The last flashback for her in the episode was when she was driving up to the prison and she saw the prison in flames and completely destroyed.
No, Charles.
But you know what? The Terminus one that you're talking about was actually the only one of the flashbacks I liked, because think about that, you know. And I think actually maybe that's what they were doing, because they were showing the battered Carol sort of like the victim becoming stronger with all of the other flashbacks by showing her by herself, and then they showed that Terminus one. They showed it quietly. Mm-hmm. She walked away from that badassery, and that I liked that, because just on her face, she was just like, you know, I just did that, and then she kept moving on.
Right. And plus, like, to pick up where Todd, as far as his theory even more, remember what I said about the catalyst that makes people more stronger? For an example, when like, Daryl lost his brother, like Merle, he became a stronger character. He got because it was that catalyst. And when like what else? Oh my God, I'm missing something. When Rick was faced between like his son's gonna get raped and his friend's gonna get killed, he became another person. He became like, yeah, pretty much time to go. Pretty much like the old Rick, not that pussy ass farmer Rick. Time to go for that real Rick. So that was his catalyst. That was his real catalyst.
Farmer Rick.
That was his real catalyst. That you can see that was her catalyst too. Carol becoming this more powerful, stronger character is because she did something that she didn't really do it, but she was actually covering up for somebody. But when she was on her own due to that falsifying someone, falsifying something she did, but she didn't do it, it made her even more stronger character. Like, yes, she can do everything by her own, but she still misses the group. She still missed that connection of human connection, like talking and pretty much being with another character. So this was her catalyst becoming a bigger, stronger character. Like with everyone else, everyone has their catalyst. They became a stronger character, just something better. She don't have a catalyst as well. If that makes any sense.
That's true enough. It's like let me go ahead and address another a viewer question. First of all, Antonio, you've redeemed yourself for agreeing with me. So, all right, that's good. But the question is like, and I'm gonna ask this for the rest of the panel. Why did Daryl burn those walkers when they were trying to lay low? What sense does that make?
Okay, I got some. I think this might be a stupid one, so it's going to be stupid anyway.
It might be a stupid one. It's you saying it. Of course it's going to be a stupid one.
So we're back in the farmer times of Rick and his other stupid crew. They were carrying bodies. Because they're feeling like remorse towards the bodies. Like, I feel kind of remorse. Or do we just smell shit? That's the bodies. Oh, no. We should burn it now.
Well, what's going on is that they're trying to lay low, and they're burning the corpses of those walkers. And, well, that's all well and good, but if they're trying to lay low, I mean, walkers don't catch on fire by themselves. So if the cops saw that...
Actually, they can.
Here's people here. Let's go look for them.
And who says zombies don't like to toke out once in a while?
They're putting out a beacon, saying like, hey, look, we're here, come get us.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair,
Yeah.
Walker can die.
We'll be over here near the big fire and the bunch of smoke. Very inconspicuous.
Well, but look,
Fire or no fire, he burnt the kids to give them a proper burial.
right, because he felt remorse.
That's why he did it. He wasn't thinking about anybody finding them because they actually had pretty good cover as far as them tall buildings around.
Right. Who's gonna fuck with them?
Smoke rises really high, so I mean.
Yeah, but again, who's gonna fuck with Carol and Daryl? No one is. No one wants to fuck with them because they're pretty much badasses. You don't want to
They
fuck
don't
with them.
know that.
Well, unless you have a station wagon, in which case I guess you can.
Yeah, that's a station wagon. Biggest weakness. That's a kryptonite. Oh, we got a station wagon. Oh no!
She should
My
have
only weakness.
rubbed car parts on her
No,
jacket.
it wasn't.
She would have been.
You're right. It wasn't a tank. No. Tanks are not a witness. It's a station wagon. This bitch, like station wagon, drive by.
So basically what you're saying is that if the tank was coming towards Carol, all she'd have to do is touch it and it would blow up. But then if she got hit by a station wagon, all bets are off.
Well, it's like, we know, it's like, I mean, Daryl, at least, half of this team, he's dealt with the fucking tank before. Tanks ain't shit to Daryl. He can sort that out. It's like, and we've seen Carol pull off some pretty badass shit. We know she's awesome. And she was felled by a fucking station wagon. That's just fucking embarrassing.
Well, that's kryptonite.
It's like, I mean, she pretty much took out the entire town of Terminus solo.
By herself.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like this little town or settlement or whatever you want to call it have been doing just fine. Rick and the whole crew show up. They couldn't do nothing. Carol shows up. 20 minutes later, everything goes to shit.
Rambo shit.
Because that's Carol. But a station wagon and Carol's fucked.
But actually, this leads into another question I have to ask you guys. If the group does find Carol and Beth, and they go to this whole big stupid battle, would that be interesting to watch, or would that be kind of boring? Because we've seen all of these battles, like the prison one was a good one, the Terminus one was a good one, and actually killing the Hunters was actually good too. When you look at it like this, it's like, they're a bunch of police officers and stuff like that. They're not really interesting as villains, because you guys say they're not really villains, but they're anti-gray. They're in the gray area.
I don't see this as being much of a fight. This isn't a situation where it's like, the group versus the governor and his crew, like where they were very clearly the bad guys. The way that they are doing things at the hospitals, like, I mean, it's wrong, but these people aren't inherently evil like the governor was. The governor was an evil, manipulative, power-hungry megalomaniac.
Right.
These people are just trying to survive. And it's like, and that's pretty much the end-all, be-all of it.
Well, what can you let them leave, though? What can you let the people who want to leave?
What was that, Lurod?
They're a little evil because they hit people to make them work off their saving grace.
Well, I didn't say they were fucking saints, but they're not like diabolic. They're not diabolic either.
I don't see them fighting each other though, because it's not a fair fight.
Right.
I don't see that as a fair fight. That would just be useless. So if they do that, that's just taking a step back for the season.
All I want to see is just another Rick, I'm fucking batshit, totally nuts, psycho, crazy, bury some sharp shit in your head. Nuts, Rick. That's all I want to see. They can just have a season of just him just going berserk on people and doing outrageous shit, biting stuff and chopping stuff. And when the series ends, if they don't have Rick pulling somebody's beating heart out of their chest with his bare hands, then they failed as a series.
That'll be so interesting to see too. Like, wow, that is so badass, Rick. He put a human heart out. So, are you the Predator now? Are you the Predator?
Pretty much. Okay, y'all. So, keeping in mind that for this mid-season, for the rest of this year, we have from this point 2 episodes left. 2 episodes. That's it. We're kicking it into wild speculation time. Y'all got anything? 2 episodes left. Let's keep that in mind.
Carol dies.
Interesting. Okay. That would certainly be shocking in order, to end things off and to give people reason to come back.
I don't think we're gonna lose Carol. I think we could potentially lose Daryl. I don't think we're going to get a battle. I don't think we're going to get a battle. I think things are going to pan out a different way. There will be death, but it will be a lesser death.
This might be
It's like-
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, instead of like a big battle, why don't the group just take over the hospital, or maybe let's make a deal with the police, with the police people? He said, because Deanna said they're not bad people. If they're actually looking for a deal to survive, like it'd be a smart idea to actually join Rick's group because they're very much more they're more tougher and more stronger. And I can see that becoming bigger and it become like the Alexander in Atlanta. So it'd be like a really interesting call. Is like a makeshift hospital, Alexander. So it might be interesting if they go for that route, like make the hospital their own safe haven, like how the prison is. But minus all that bullshit.
There's no way that Rick's group is gonna join another group. They'll pick up people one at a time, but I think they've already been burned enough times with trying to merge groups and all this other stuff that I don't think they're gonna go down that route anymore.
Yeah, and here's something else to keep in mind. We already know at this point how the whole Daryl thing kind of interacts back with the main group because we've seen the end game for that already. But there's still the aspect of what happened with Abraham and Glenn and their group out there when they discovered the truth about mullet heads, complete and total line of bullshit.
Yeah, it was so easy too. Like really, folks, are you that stupid?
Eugene, that's his name. I called him mullet head because I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh, mullet
Mullethead's just fine.
Yeah, mullethead's just fine. Okay,
You could call him Kiss the Pavement.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Call him Kiss the Pavement.
Yeah, that to me was one of the funniest things ever in The Walking Dead until this whole Carol getting hit by the station wagon.
That was classic.
Because last week I swear I was laughing my ass off. It's like Eugene's epic fucking got knocked the fuck out. It's like I watched it and I rewound it like 10 times because it was just so funny watching that motherfucker face plant on the concrete. That shit was funny. But it's like this week I did the same thing with Carol in that fucking station wagon. It was like I got sat here and kept rewinding. It was like I know I'm an asshole.
So
it was just fucking funny. It's just here we go, and boom, and oh wait, and boom. Okay, wait a second. Okay, slow motion. Oh, that sucks.
To be honest, did the officer say 20 points when he hit Carol? He's like, 20 points. We hit a chick. 20 points.
I know. That's some Death Race 3000 shit.
We got 2 weeks of straight comedy with 2 scenes in the show.
Yeah, basically.
Oh yes, and in the Chris, like the
I'm
Noah,
for a
like,
piano to fall on somebody at this point.
right. Pretty much, like, I wasn't piano. The bookcase thing falling on Noah's like, yeah, that's pretty much call that a piano case now because let's be honest, Chris is like, yeah, everybody hates Chris now. Part 2. Part 2. Like, god damn it, Chris.
I would have left his ass to get bit.
Same here. Like, you're trying to kill me.
You want to steal from me? Your ass is gonna die, you little fuck.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but let's be completely fair. It's like, I mean, he had a good reason for stealing from them. It's like, they didn't know that at the time, but his whole thing was he wanted to go back and save Beth, which, incidentally, if they knew that Beth was in danger, that's kind of what they had been trying to do as well. So, I mean, they were on the same side.
The sad thing about that was his dumbass didn't know how to work the damn gun.
Exactly. That big ass gun, bigger than him.
He would have ran back into that hospital with that shit and been like, how do I use this?
He just probably shot himself. Yeah.
But sadly, I see Noah dying. He's gonna die. Yeah.
Yeah, why? Jeez, you hate Chris too? I mean, I know you hate everything. But goddamn.
Everybody hates Chris. That's what he did right there. Everybody hates Chris. He pulled that bullshit.
According to Isaiah, Noah is now the new Bob Stuckey.
See, there you go, Weedy.
Well, he is the new Bob Stuckey. He is. He actually is the new Bob Stuckey.
It's proven now.
This season, and we have to have equilibrium. They killed the one brother on the show earlier this season, so they had to come back on the back end and replace him with another brother. You always gotta have the balance of brothers, okay?
Exactly.
There can't be too many at one time. There also can't be too few. Okay. So they killed Bob Stuckey. You knew they was gonna bring another brother on. It's like, oh fuck, we done fucked up. We killed too many brothers.
But actually, I'm still right though.
somewhere.
I'm still right though. You can't trust those new black people. You can't trust. Can't trust those new Negroes.
Oh, shut up, Uncle Ruckus.
You can't trust them. You can't trust them.
Don't trust them new niggas over there. Oh my God, man.
So,
hey, at least I'm right. At least I'm right.
So is there going to be any? I haven't really been following it, but is there going to be any setup for the spinoff in the main series? Are they going to?
I don't know.
Honestly, don't know.
That they may touch that at all?
According to everything I've read and heard, it's just going to take place somewhere else with no ties to this cast at all.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would probably make the most sense because, from my understanding, the spinoff they're kind of going with like a different location and whatnot, and trying to do a backdoor pilot or anything like that would not make any sense. And besides, with the runaway success that this show has been for AMC, is like they can throw anything up there with The Walking Dead on it, and motherfuckers watch it.
Yeah, the video game.
That's the problem that I have. I like, I know they'll never do it, but like, I really wish they would kill Daryl. Because one, I'm kind of tired of it now. I'm kind of tired of him now. He had that whatever badass mystique or whatever, and then they kind of softened him up a little bit, to make all the women's ovaries explode, and I'm just kind of like, I have to, I still have to hold it up to Sons of Anarchy. They have the balls to kill anybody on that show.
Well, they're actually
that they do.
That
look forward to watching tonight.
That show for me still holds the record for just the most surprising deaths. I was like, holy shit, And with Walking Dead, I kind of, I like Rick and I like Daryl and I like all these people, but I feel that non-tension that we're not going to kill Daryl because he's awesome and everybody loves him, and we're not going to kill Rick because he's awesome and everybody loves him. I wish they would just be like, hey, we're gonna shock people. We're gonna keep you watching because hey, there's no you don't. You have to have that tension. I'll throw out another show that I don't know why I'm still watching, but I'm watching is Gotham, and I know. Well, when you're a cord cutter, you watch whatever. But
also, actually, kind of like Reggie's well, I actually kind of agree with his point. Like when you kill these characters, it's not really spontaneous. Like, for example, like The Wire. It killed off a lot of really cool and really interesting characters, but it was still good, though, because you didn't really see it coming. And we see it with other final characters being killed off, like, oh, damn, that happened? So it was like, they don't have that type of finesse. They don't have the type of, like, that shock factor as The Wire did.
There's
and
not...
to be honest, and this is my last point, and to be honest, Sons of Anarchy has pretty much the most boringest cast ever, so they kind of have to kill them off.
Okay, we'll have to dig it out later.
That's something for a conclave discussion a little bit later on.
I'm just saying the truth. He's very boring. He bored me to death.
But
you can say that.
I just think that there needs to be some tension brought back in Walking Dead. I think it's losing some of that tension. The main cast kind of feels too safe to me.
Perhaps. What were you going to say, Lurad?
To Isaiah's point, he could sit there and say that Sons of Anarchy is boring, but yet this past week's episode, they got criticized for having the opening 7 or 8 minutes of the show nothing but sex and Charlie Hunn's bare ass.
Well,
I can watch the Orange New Black for sex. I can watch that show because it's pretty much girl on girl action.
Pervert.
But that's why that's on Netflix.
What? Right, but that's free though. And you're like, oh, that's so awesome! Yay! Prison sex of lesbians! Yay! What?
Debauchery abound.
Don't judge me.
Whoa, wait a second, Todd. What are you saying?
About Walking Dead, that's the one main thing I was realizing I'm disappointed of between that and the comic. The comic book, it's like 15 friggin' pages, like panel to panel, yet somehow it seemed to deliver these shocking stories, these fulfilling stories that I really looked forward to, and the fact that anybody could go at any time, it really felt that way. There was an urgency. Maybe it's because there's only 12 issues a year. But the show, I realized, doesn't have that. There used to be a time where every episode I was like, oh, this Daryl guy is going to die. Because at first he was an asshole, and then he's saving babies, and he's everything but running around. No, he does have wings, So they made him a saint, so I was always like, he's going to die, he's going to die. And I don't even think at all that he's possibly going to die anymore. But maybe that's where they'll trick us, and they'll do it.
So he's pretty much playing the same character as Boondock Saints.
Yeah,
I can see at this point, every other character they need a lot more time. Him and Michonne are the only two characters that I could see having their story played out. Although I'm still saying I want to see Carl. I mean, that'd be weird. Rick and Michonne as a couple on the show, and that was valid. I said that a while back. Nobody agreed with me, but it was validated by somebody else on Talking Dead last night. The lady on Talking Dead said the same thing. But yeah, I would actually. They're both kind of useless. We've seen them. They're both badasses. We know pretty much their stories. Unless you tell us Daryl was more evil than Merle, and Merle was like his sidekick back in the day, then Daryl becomes more interesting. But right now, they're both just zombie-ass, so either of them could die.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that kind of gets to me is that once the show starts realizing and starts kind of making reference to the fan favorites of with Daryl, everybody trying to guess, oh, what did he do before all this happened, and Michonne, people kind of recognizing her bad attitude, and same thing with Rick, and that once the show starts kind of realizing, oh yeah, we like these people, then it's like then they're getting that get out of jail free card, and I wish they would do something to take away from that.
Yeah, it's like, well, I feel like what we're missing right now, and we kind of had something like that early on, and we've kind of lost it, was the compelling villain.
Right.
And it's like ever since the death of that compelling villain, the leader of what became the Hunters, is just kind of nothing. It's like everyone's just kind of existing and just kind of doing their own thing and finding their own way. And it's like, in one sense, I don't have a problem with that because, as I said, I like these kind of one-off episodes where they focus on just a couple of characters and whatnot, so long as they're done well, which I don't feel that this one was.
Right.
But a compelling villain we need.
Right. It's like empty space. It's just an empty space of nothing.
To that specific, I think there's something behind that, Diano. I think they rolled the dice here and they crapped out, or they failed, whatever the analogy is. Because they were originally saying they were eyeing Katherine Heigl, or whatever her name is, to be the big bad of this season. And I can completely see her being in that main cop role, but she's got another show that she's now headlining, so obviously she didn't take it. But I'm thinking they were banking on getting her a big name, a shocking twist as a villain, and, they wrote it, they went ahead, and they couldn't get her, and then they got stuck with this, anticlimactic woman.
Right.
Not Katherine Heigl.
I don't know. It's like, I don't see why a difference in actress would mean, oh, now let's change the entire storyline just because one person wanted to play her with another person. Huh?
She's a big Hollywood actress, and she's known for positive.
Katherine Heigl is known for romantic comedies and being one of the most difficult people to work with in the history of Hollywood. Yeah. Those are the only two things that she's famous for.
Who is she on?
She was on Knocked Up.
Oh, that one crazy lady who's just hard to work with? Oh, yeah. She's a bitch.
The one you made a post about this afternoon, where the ratings were really low for her premiere show.
Oh, yeah, because she is awful. She's an awful person. She really is.
stunt casting never really works out anyway, so that I could care less about that. What I would like to see, what I really like to, I think the thing that I've liked the most about The Walking Dead is that it shows that people are still who they are, even though there's apocalypse. You know, you still have the racists, you still have the rapists, you still have, just the assholes and just the lazy sacks of shit. It's like I would love it if they would show more of that. They don't need to have a big bad and follow that typical whatever good guy bad guy TV show kind of thing. Just show people surviving in this world, but yet showing that hey we're still there's it still makes you kind of ask that nature versus nurture kind of thing as who we are despite this thing that's affecting everybody. You can still have these people that are just there are people that are just flat out bad, and there's still people that are just flat out assholes, and there are people that are good. So if they showed more of that, I would be happy.
Yeah, definitely. All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this particular episode of Geeks Around. I'd like to thank everyone on the panel for joining us, and for all of you out there watching. Make sure you go ahead and like this video if you like what we're doing out here. Subscribe to youtube.com/geeksaround so you never miss this or any other discussion that we do. We also highly encourage you to join the Geeks Around community. You will find the link for that down in the description of this video, right underneath the like button. In the meantime, we have 2 episodes left for this season of The Walking Dead. We'll see you next week to discuss the penultimate episode. Holla.
Bye-bye.